Glock 22 on my hip weighs nothing after 23 years. The radio clipped to my vest, that's what feels heavy today. Dispatch keeps calling B block medical checks, but nobody's answering down there. 3 calls in 40 minutes. I should have gone down myself an hour ago, but I was dealing with Torres, rookie, 6 months in, crying in the women's locker room because an inmate called her a name. Not even a creative name. The usual shit. I'm Vega, Senior Corrections Officer, Sonoran Desert Correctional Facility. Nobody calls it SDCF, we call it the sundial because the shadow from the guard tower tracks across the yard all day, and that's how you tell time out here. 112 degrees outside. 96 inside the climate-controlled blocks. Climate-controlled is bullshit marketing from the state. The AC works in admin and medical. Rest of us sweat. Vega, you copy? That's Landry. Been my partner 15 years. Works B block day shift while I do A block. But we overlap during count. Yeah? I copy. I'm walking through the connector between A and B. 40 yards of cinder block painted that institutional beige that's supposed to be calming. Psychological studies from the 80s. Same studies said green reduces aggression, so they painted the day room green. Didn't help. Nothing helps. Medical's not answering. Check-in was supposed to be at 1400. It's 1443. I can see the digital clock on the wall because the previous supervisor installed them every 50 feet. Donated by some tech company doing good PR. The clocks all sync to the same satellite signal. Very precise. Doesn't matter when nobody shows up for their shift on time anyway. I'm coming down. The thing about prisons, there's a rhythm. You learn it or you don't last. The noise has patterns. Afternoon count is loud. Inmates talking, guards walking the tiers, doors clanging. But there's variance within the pattern. Today B block is too quiet. Not silent. There's ventilation. Someone's TV 3 cells down. Boots on metal grating, but wrong quiet. Like when the desert goes still before a dust storm. I pass through the checkpoint. Young guy on duty, Martinez, maybe? No, that's not right. Herrera. Just transferred from county. He waves me through without checking my badge properly. Bad habit. I should write him up, but I won't. Not today. I'm too focused on the quiet. B block medical is a converted cell block. 12 beds, 3 examination rooms, 1 surgery bay they built 5 years ago when the state got federal money for improved inmate healthcare. The surgery bay has been used twice. Mostly medical is for distributing blood pressure pills and treating kitchen burns. The doors propped open. That's wrong. Medical doors stay locked during rounds. Landry, back here. His voice sounds strange. Tight. I find him in the corridor between exam rooms 1 and 2. He's standing very still, looking through the reinforced window into exam 1. Landry's a big guy, ex-high school football, still keeps the build. Shaved head because he started balding at 30 and decided to own it. I've seen him take down 3 inmates during a yard fight without breaking his professional demeanor. Right now his hands are shaking. Look at them, he says. Exam room 1 has 4 inmates on gurneys. All from C-block medical testing volunteers. The experimental program started 3 months ago. State Corrections partnered with some pharmaceutical company, Helicon Biosciences, I think. The warden announced it during the staff meeting. Voluntary program. Inmates get credited time and better commissary privileges. Testing some behavioral modification drug. Anti-violence serum, they called it. Supposed to suppress aggression for repeat offenders before parole. I didn't like it then. I don't like medical experiments on inmates. Doesn't matter if it's voluntary. But I'm not the warden, and I don't make policy. I just keep everyone alive until shift ends. The 4 inmates on the gurneys aren't moving. They're breathing. I can see their chests rising, falling, but they're not moving anything else. Their eyes are open. One of them is Dorian Kemp, serving 15 for armed robbery. I processed his intake 4 years ago. He spent the whole time talking about his daughter's birthday party he was missing. Couldn't shut him up. Now he's staring at the ceiling, not blinking. I count 12 seconds, 15, 20. He doesn't blink. Where's Dr. Reeves? The facility doctor. Shows up 3 days a week, treats inmates like cattle, leaves at 5 sharp. Haven't seen him. Or his assistant. What's her name, Cho? Yeah. Dr. Cho. Young woman just out of residency, doing her public service requirement. She's the one who actually talks to inmates like people. Reeves just writes prescriptions and complains about budget constraints. I try the exam room door. Locked. But through the window I can see the observation log on the counter. Someone's been documenting. The handwriting is Dr. Cho's neat, precise medical school handwriting. I can't read the words from here, but I can see timestamps. The last entry looks like it was made around 1300. Hour and a half ago. Landry, call the control room. Get. The inmate on gurney 2 sits up, not like a person waking, like something mechanical. His torso pivots at the waist, 90-degree angle, and stops. His head doesn't turn. His eyes don't track. He's just sitting, staring forward at the wall. Then his head rotates. Not turning, rotating. Like his neck is on a bearing. Slow, smooth, until he's looking directly at the window. At me. His eyes. Jesus Christ, his eyes. I've seen inmates high on meth, PCP, bath salts, every designer drug that makes it through contraband. I've seen psychotic breaks, violent episodes, religious ecstasies. This isn't any of those. His eyes are empty, not vacant like someone on opioids. Empty like Vega. Landry's backing away from the window. What the fuck is that? The inmate opens his mouth. His jaw drops, hinges going too far, and I can see his teeth. He's missing 2 molars on the left side. Lost them in a fight last year. I remember because the incident report was a pain in the ass. 3 witnesses all claiming different stories. He makes a sound. Not words. Not screaming. A wet clicking in the back of his throat. Like someone trying to start an engine that won't turn over. The other 3 inmates sit up the same way. Mechanical. Synchronized. One movement. They turn their heads toward the window. Toward us. Control room. I'm saying into my radio. Control, this is Vega B Block Medical. We have a situation. I need. Static. I switch channels. Control, do you copy? More static. Then a voice, very faint, breaking up. Containment proto. All personnel. B and C blocks. Do not. The signal dies. The 4 inmates stand up from their gurneys. Same mechanical movement. They move toward the door. They're locked in, right? Landry's voice is higher than normal. The door's locked. Yeah, it's locked. I'm checking my keys. Medical override is on my ring. Green plastic tag. I've used it twice, both times for inmate medical emergencies. The lock is electronic, reinforced steel frame. Rated for security level 3. The first inmate reaches the door. He doesn't try the handle. He presses his face against the reinforced window. His nose flattens against the glass. He doesn't close his eyes. He just stares. The other 3 crowd behind him, pressing close, all of them staring through the glass. Vega, we should go. Landry's already moving backward. Right now. He's right. Protocol is clear. Unknown medical situation. Evacuate the area. Wait for medical staff and emergency response. Let someone else handle this. Torres is probably still in the locker room. I could go check on her. Do my job. Not this. Whatever this is, it's not my job. But Dorian Kemp is in there. And Dr. Cho might still be in the facility somewhere. And my radio is dead, and the control room was trying to say something about containment protocol before the signal cut out. I'm looking at Kemp's daughter's face in my memory. The photo he showed me during intake. She was wearing a purple birthday hat. 4 years old, maybe 5. She'd be 9 now. We need to find Reeves, I say, and Dr. Cho, and figure out what the hell kind of drug trial they're running down here. That's when the lights go out. Emergency lighting kicks in after 3 seconds. Battery-powered floods in the corners, red exit signs, that's it. The rest is dark. The auxiliary lights make everything look like a crime scene photo. Harsh shadows, too much contrast, colors all wrong. Backup generator should have caught that, Landry says. He's pressed against the wall near me, hand on his baton. Not the Glock. Neither of us has drawn yet. You don't draw on inmates without cause. Not in this state. Not after the lawsuit from 2019. Should've. I'm trying the radio again. Dead. Not even static now. Stay close. We move back down the medical corridor. The inmates in exam room 1 aren't making sounds anymore. I can see them through the window as we pass. They're still pressed against their door, faces mashed against the glass, watching us leave, not tracking our movement, just pointed in our direction like security cameras. The checkpoint we passed through earlier is empty. Herrera is gone. His chair is knocked over, lying on its side. There's a clipboard on the floor, pages scattered. I pick one up. It's a medical consent form. Helicon Biosciences letterhead at the top. Participant signature line at the bottom. Most of it is dense legal text, the kind nobody reads. I skim it anyway. Subject volunteers for Phase 3 trial of HB serum, a proprietary formulation designed to reduce neural activation in the amygdala and anterior cingulate cortex during aggressive stimulus response. English translation: they're trying to turn off the part of the brain that makes people angry. The serum is supposed to suppress violent impulses, make inmates easier to manage, better candidates for parole. That's the pitch, anyway. The reality is probably cheaper than hiring more guards. Vega. Landry's at the checkpoint door, looking through the wire-reinforced window into A-block corridor. We have a problem. I join him. The corridor is full of inmates. 20, maybe 25. They're not rioting. They're not moving at all. They're standing in the corridor, evenly spaced, facing our direction. Their posture is identical, arms at their sides, heads slightly tilted. The emergency lighting makes their shadows stretch long across the floor. Where are the guards? Some of these guys I know. Timothy Orozco, meth distribution. Jackson Fell, vehicular manslaughter. Raymond Pitt, second-degree murder. Pitt was my responsibility on A block. I talked to him this morning. He was complaining about the breakfast scramble being undercooked. Normal complaint. Normal guy serving his time. Now he's standing in a corridor full of motionless inmates, and I can see from here that his eyes are wrong. Empty like Kemp's. I don't know where anyone is. Landry tries his radio. Also dead. This isn't just B block. We can't go through A block. The checkpoint leads directly into that corridor. We'd be walking into the middle of them. So we backtrack. There's a maintenance access that connects B block to the administration wing. I've used it maybe 4 times in 23 years, usually locked. Today it's propped open with a fire extinguisher. The maintenance corridor is tight, 3 feet wide, bare concrete, pipes running overhead. It smells like industrial cleaner and mildew. Our boots echo. Too loud. Everything is too loud. I can hear my breathing, my vest creaking, my keys jingling. Someone went through here recently, Landry says. He's pointing at the floor. There are wet footprints. Small shoes. Sneakers, not boots. Torres. Has to be. She was in the locker room in her street clothes, crying about being called a name. If the power went out and the emergency started, she might have panicked. Might have run for admin instead of following lockdown protocol. Torres. I try calling out. My voice bounces off concrete. No answer. We follow the footprints. They lead to a junction where the maintenance corridor splits. Left to admin, right to C block. The footprints go right. Why would she go to C block? Landry's looking at me like I have answers. I don't have answers. Torres is 24 years old, fresh from the academy, smart enough to pass the exam but not experienced enough to know when to ignore orders. If someone told her to check C block, she'd check C block even during an emergency. C block is medical testing. That's where Helicon Biosciences set up their research facility. Whole block got renovated last year, new air filtration, biohazard containment, temperature controls. Very high-tech, very expensive. The state was thrilled because the pharmaceutical company paid for everything. All we had to do was provide the subjects. The maintenance door to C block is closed but not locked. I open it slowly. The corridor beyond is silent. Emergency lighting here too, but some of the regular lights are still on, flickering. The backup generator must be routing power to critical systems, and C block is critical because of the medical equipment. Torres. I call again. This time I hear something. Not her voice. Footsteps. Someone running. Coming toward us. Dr. Cho appears around the corner. She's running full speed, white coat streaming behind her. Her face is cut. There's blood running down from her hairline, soaking into her collar. She sees us and stumbles, almost falls. Landry catches her. Lock it! She's gasping, pointing back the way she came. Lock the door. They're coming. I'm slamming the maintenance door shut. There's a manual deadbolt, old security feature from before the electronic locks. I throw it. Heavy metal clunk. What happened? Landry's got Dr. Cho by the shoulders. She's shaking. Where's Reeves? He's dead. She's trying to catch her breath. Words coming in bursts. Reeves is dead. The subjects, phase 3 went wrong. The serum, it doesn't suppress violence. It removes empathy. All empathy. Emotional response. Pain recognition. They don't register. They don't understand. Something hits the door. Hard. The metal buckles slightly. The deadbolt holds, but the frame creaks. How many subjects? I'm watching the door. Another impact. The frame is bending. 40 in phase 3, 20 in phase 2. But it's spreading. Contact transmission. Saliva. Blood. Reeves was trying to sedate one of them and it bit him. It bit through his hand. He was fine at first. Then he started showing symptoms. 10 minutes. That's all it took. The door buckles again. I can hear them on the other side now. Not voices. That wet clicking sound from the exam room. Multiple sources. Like insects communicating. Torres came through here. I say. Rookie officer. Young woman. Brown hair. She's in the research lab. Dr. Cho is pulling herself together. Medical training kicking in. She was looking for me. I told her to wait there. It's secure. Biohazard containment. But I don't know how long. Show me. We move down the C block corridor. Dr. Cho leads us past cell doors, all open. These aren't regular cells. They're observation rooms. Medical beds, monitoring equipment for stands. Every room is empty. Blood on some of the floors. Not pools of it. Just smears. Like someone was dragged. Where are the other medical staff? Landry's checking the rooms as we pass. Gone. Evacuated when the breach started. There was an alert. Helican's corporate security triggered it. They knew something was wrong and they left. Sealed the facility and left us inside with. The research lab is at the end of the corridor. Heavy steel door, electronic lock with keypad. Dr. Cho enters her code. The pad beeps red. Access denied. That's wrong. That's my code. She tries again. Same result. They changed it. Helican changed the access codes remotely. They locked us out of our own facility? Landry looks like he wants to hit something. They locked us in. Dr. Cho's voice is flat. Professional assessment. Standard quarantine protocol. Facility breach means all external access points seal. Internal containment depends on door integrity and, behind us, down the corridor, I hear the maintenance door break. Torres! I'm shouting now. Torres, if you can hear me, get away from the door. I shoot the lock. Glock 22 is loud in the enclosed space. My ears ring. The lock mechanism sparks, dies. I kick the door. It swings open. The research lab is maybe 40 feet. Medical equipment everywhere. Centrifuges, incubators, computers, racks of vials and syringes. Torres is in the corner, pressed against a desk. She's got her baton out. When she sees me, she starts crying again. I'm so sorry. They told me to check C block and I didn't know. It's okay. I'm pulling her toward the door. We're leaving. Now, we can't go back that way. Dr. Cho is looking at something on a computer screen. Security camera feed. It's black and white, low frame rate, but I can see the corridor we just came through. It's full of inmates, not standing still anymore. Moving, coordinated, searching. Is there another way out? Service elevator. Connects to the loading dock. Dr. Cho points to a door on the far side of the lab, but it's manual override only. Backup power doesn't cover it. Landry's already moving. I can hand crank it. Did it during training 15 years ago. The clicking sound is getting closer. They're in the corridor now. I can hear them through the walls. We go through the door. The service elevator is industrial, 8 feet, metal walls. No interior lights. Just the emergency floods from the corridor spilling in. Landry finds the manual crank, a fold-down handle on the left wall. He starts turning it. The elevator shutters, begins to descend. Torres is pressed against me. She stopped crying, but she's still shaking. What's wrong with them? I don't know. That's not completely true. I know they're infected with something. I know the pharmaceutical company knew it could spread. I know they sealed us inside and changed the access codes and left us to deal with this. Dr. Cho is watching the floor indicator. Loading dock is sublevel 1. We should have radio contact down there. The communications array is in the basement level. The elevator is moving slowly. Hand crank means maybe 6 inches per second. We have 5 floors to descend. That's 60 feet. That's, I do the math, 200 seconds. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Above us, I hear the wet clicking. They've found the elevator shaft. Faster, I tell Landry. This is as fast as it goes. Something drops onto the elevator roof. Heavy impact. The whole car shakes. Then another impact. Another. They're dropping down the shaft. Landing on the roof. Torres is looking up. What do we? The roof tears open. Not tears, that's too slow. The metal peels back like aluminum foil. An inmate's face appears in the gap. Raymond Pitt. Second-degree murder. He was complaining about scrambled eggs this morning. Now he's tearing through steel with his hands and his fingers are broken. I can see the bones, but he doesn't stop. He doesn't react to pain. I shoot him. Center mass. 2 rounds. He jerks backward. Falls. I don't hear him land. Keep cranking. I'm yelling at Landry. Another face in the gap. Timothy Orozco. Meth distribution. I shoot him too. The floor indicator shows sublevel 1. The elevator lurches to a stop. Landry wrenches the door open manually. We spill out into the loading dock. A concrete bay, empty except for 2 pallets of commissary supplies and an old Ford truck that probably hasn't run in years. Communications array is through there. Dr. Cho points to a door marked electrical. We run. Behind us, I can hear more of them dropping into the elevator shaft. The wet clicking echoes off concrete. The electrical room is full of breaker boxes and cable runs and one very old radio console that looks like it was installed in the 80s. Landry's already at it, checking connections. It's hardwired. Should work even with the power out. He flips switches. The console lights up. Control room, this is Officer Landry. Do you copy? Static. Then a voice. Not dispatch. Different. This is Special Agent Dylan Brack, FBI. Identify yourself and your location. FBI? What the hell is the FBI doing here? Landry gives our identifications. Our location. Agent Brack's response is immediate and bureaucratic. You are currently in a level 4 quarantine zone. Do not attempt to exit the facility. Repeat, do not attempt to exit. Federal containment is in effect. Remain where you are and await instructions. There are infected inmates in here with us. We need evacuation. Now. Negative. Evacuation protocols cannot be implemented at this time. The contagion is confirmed airborne in later stages. You are exposed. Facility breach is contained externally. Interior response is your responsibility until decontamination procedures are completed. Dr. Cho grabs the radio. This is Dr. Elise Cho, medical staff. When were you planning to tell us about airborne transmission? The Helican briefing said contact vectors only. Silence on the other end. Long silence. Then, Helican Biosciences withheld revised data from federal oversight. We became aware of the actual transmission vectors 40 minutes ago. You're on your own until we can confirm containment. The radio goes dead. Torres is looking at me. What does that mean? It means the pharmaceutical company lied. It means the FBI knows we're trapped in here. It means they're not coming for us. It means I need to keep everyone alive long enough to figure out what the hell to do next. The electrical room has one advantage. Steel door, no windows. The disadvantage, no other exits. We're trapped in a 20 by 20 box with a radio that connects to people who won't help us and infected inmates who are probably searching the loading dock right now. I'm taking inventory. My Glock has, I checked the magazine, 11 rounds left. Landry has a full magazine, 15 rounds. Torres never drew her weapon. She's still holding her baton. Dr. Cho has no defensive equipment at all. She's a doctor, not a guard. How long until we're symptomatic? He's trying to sound professional, but I can hear the edge in his voice. If it's airborne, we're already infected, right? I don't know. Dr. Cho is pacing. Small space, only 3 steps before she has to turn around. The subjects showed symptoms within minutes of exposure, but that was direct contact with high viral load. Airborne transmission might have different onset timing, or different concentration requirements. I don't have the data. Helican kept the actual research protocols classified. Torres makes a sound, halfway between a laugh and a sob. So we might be turning into those things right now and we wouldn't even know? No. I'm trying to sound certain. We'd know. The symptoms are obvious. The empty eyes, the mechanical movements, the loss of empathy. That's the first symptom, according to Reeves' notes. Before the physical changes, before the behavioral shift. The test subjects reported feeling disconnected, emotionally flat. One of them said it was like watching a movie of my own life. I'm thinking about Raymond Pitt complaining about scrambled eggs. Was that before or after his injection? Was he already feeling disconnected? Did he know something was wrong? How many exits does this facility have? Landry's moved on to practical concerns. Survival mode. I recognize it because I'm in the same mode. For main exits, I say, front gate, loading dock, emergency exits on east and west wings, all electronically controlled, all sealed under quarantine protocol. What about the old tunnels? I look at him. What tunnels? The maintenance tunnels. From when this place was a mining operation. Landry's watching my face. You didn't know? This facility was built on top of an abandoned copper mine. 1950s operation. They used the old tunnel structure for utilities when they converted it to a prison. There are maps in the maintenance office. Why didn't you mention this before? Because the tunnels are condemned. Unstable. They sealed them off 20 years ago after a collapse killed a maintenance worker. But if we're desperate, we're desperate. Show me. We can't leave the electrical room through the door. I can hear them out there in the loading dock. That wet clicking sound. Multiple sources. They're searching, methodically, like they're following a pattern. But there's a ventilation grate in the ceiling. Old system, from before the renovation. Landry and I lift Torres up. She's small enough to fit through. She crawls into the duct, reaches back down. We hand up Dr. Cho. Then Landry goes. I'm last, pulling myself up, replacing the grate behind me. The ventilation system is tight. 3 feet, maybe less in some sections. We crawl on our stomachs. The metal is cold against my hands. I can hear the others ahead of me. Torres breathing too fast, Landry's vest scraping metal. Dr. Cho trying to orient herself in the dark. The maintenance office is 200 yards through the duct system. I know because I've seen the facility blueprints. But blueprints don't account for dust, cobwebs, sections where the duct narrows or bends at uncomfortable angles. Torres gets stuck twice. We have to talk her through it. Keep moving, just a little further. Don't think about the space. When we finally reach the maintenance office vent, I'm sweating through my uniform. We drop down one by one into an empty office. Desk, filing cabinets, a calendar on the wall from 2021. Nobody's updated it in 4 years. Landry goes straight to the filing cabinets. He pulls out a rolled blueprint. Here, original mine structure overlaid with facility construction. We spread it on the desk. The facility is built in a rough star shape, 5 cell blocks radiating from a central hub. Below the cell blocks, the old mine tunnels snake through the desert bedrock. Most of them are marked with red X's. Collapsed, condemned, unsafe, but one tunnel is marked in green. Emergency egress route, approved 1989. It connects to the loading dock area and runs west for half a mile before surfacing at an old ventilation shaft. Half a mile underground in a condemned mine, Dr. Cho says. That's our evacuation plan? You have a better idea? Landry's already moving toward the door. We can't stay here. We can't go up. Down is the only option. The tunnel entrance is in the loading dock sublevel, behind a locked gate marked authorized personnel only. I have the key master override on my ring. The lock is old, sticky. Takes me 3 tries before it turns. The tunnel beyond is dark. Not emergency lighting dark. Absolute dark. The kind where you can't see your hand in front of your face. Landry finds a maintenance locker, pulls out 4 LED flashlights. We test them. Weak yellow beams, but better than nothing. Stay close, I say. Watch your footing. If you see any structural damage, call it out. We enter the tunnel. The temperature drops immediately. Desert outside is 112 degrees. Down here it's maybe 70, maybe less. The air smells like rock dust and stale water. The tunnel is shored up with old timber, rotting in places but holding. Barely. We walk for 10 minutes. 15. The tunnel slopes downward slightly. Water drips somewhere ahead of us. Our footsteps echo. Torres is behind me, so close she keeps bumping into my back. Dr. Cho is breathing hard, not in shape for this. Landry is in front, sweeping his flashlight side to side. Stop! Landry's light is fixed on something ahead. The tunnel branches. 3 directions. None of them were on the map. That's not right. He's checking the blueprint again. The map shows one route, straight shot west. The map is from 1989, Dr. Cho says. These mines are 100 years old. They expanded, changed, collapsed. The records are probably incomplete. So we're guessing? We're guessing. I look down each tunnel. They all look identical. Dark, narrow, timber-shored. No distinguishing features. No signs. No way to know which one leads to the surface. Torres speaks up. Listen. We stop. Silence. Then I hear it. Faint. Very faint. The wet clicking sound. Behind us. They followed us down? Landry's turning back toward the tunnel entrance. Or they knew where we were going. Dr. Cho's voice is tight. The serum affects the brain's emotional centers, not cognitive function. They can still think. Plan. They're not mindless. The clicking is getting louder. Closer. We split up, I say. Cover more ground. Find the exit faster. That's a terrible idea, Torres says. Every horror movie, every training manual, I know, but we don't have time for the safe option. I'm looking at Landry. You take Dr. Cho, go left. Torres and I go center. If you find the exit, radio. If you hit a dead end, backtrack, try another route. And if those things find us, run. Landry and Dr. Cho take the left tunnel. Their flashlight beams disappear around a bend. Torres and I take the center tunnel. The clicking sound is closer now. I can hear footsteps behind us. Multiple footsteps. They're in the tunnels. We run. The center tunnel narrows. The ceiling gets lower. I'm crouching, then crawling. Torres is right behind me. My flashlight catches something ahead. A collapse. The tunnel is blocked. Rock and timber fill the passage completely. Dead end. I'm saying into the radio. Backtracking. No response from Landry. Landry, do you copy? Static. Torres is tugging my vest. Vega. They're behind us. I turn. My flashlight catches movement. 3 inmates crawling through the tunnel. Too fast. Their limbs bend at wrong angles, elbows inverting, knees rotating. They're adapting to the confined space. I shoot the lead one. The muzzle flash blinds me for a second. The inmate jerks, falls, but the other 2 keep coming. They crawl over the body without pausing, without acknowledging it. Go! I'm pushing Torres back toward the junction. Move! We're scrambling backward. The tunnel floor is uneven. Torres trips, catches herself. I fire again. The confined space makes everything harder. Can't get proper stance. Can't aim correctly. The sound is deafening. We reach the junction. The right tunnel, we haven't tried that one. Torres goes first. I'm backing after her, keeping my light on the center tunnel. The 2 inmates emerge from the darkness. Their faces are wrong. Not just the empty eyes. The skin is changing, graying, like something is eating away the pigmentation. I fire 3 more rounds. 1 hits. The inmate stumbles but doesn't stop. My slide locks back. Empty magazine. I'm reloading as I back into the right tunnel. Torres is ahead of me, her flashlight bouncing as she runs. The right tunnel slopes upward. That's good. That means we're heading toward the surface. The timber shoring here is newer or at least less rotted. Someone maintained this section more recently. The air is moving. I can feel a breeze on my face. That means ventilation. That means an opening somewhere ahead. Torres, slow down. Watch for. She disappears. Not grabbed. Not pulled. She just drops out of my flashlight beam. I hear her scream, then a crash, then silence. I reach the spot where she vanished. There's a hole in the tunnel floor. Old mining shaft, vertical, maybe 10 feet across. My light doesn't reach the bottom. I call down, Torres. Her voice echoes up. There's water down here. And a ladder. Metal ladder going up. How far down are you? 20 feet? Maybe 30. I can't tell. Behind me, I hear them coming. The wet clicking echoes through the tunnel. I don't have time to consider options. I jump. The fall is shorter than Torres estimated. 15 feet, maybe. I hit water. Cold water, waist deep. My flashlight goes under, comes back up still working. Torres is next to me, soaked, shivering. The ladder is bolted to the shaft wall. Old iron, thick with rust, but solid. I test the first rung. Holds my weight. Above us, 2 faces appear at the edge of the hole. Empty eyes looking down. They don't jump. They're calculating, analyzing the distance, the risk. They still have that capacity. Climb! I'm pushing Torres toward the ladder. She goes up fast. I'm right behind her. The ladder is maybe 40 feet tall. It leads to a horizontal tunnel. Torres pulls herself onto solid ground. I'm 3 rungs from the top when I hear metal scraping metal below. One of them is on the ladder. Climbing, I reach the horizontal tunnel, turn, fire down the shaft. The muzzle flash shows me the inmate on the ladder. Jackson fell, vehicular manslaughter. I shot him twice in the loading dock. He's still moving. The rounds in his chest are visible, dark holes in his prison jumpsuit. He doesn't react, doesn't slow, just keeps climbing. Torres is pulling my arm. The tunnel goes that way. I can see light, real light, not flashlight beams. Daylight. We run toward it. The tunnel opens into a larger chamber, an old ventilation room. There's equipment here, ancient and rusted. A massive fan blade that hasn't turned in decades. and above it a shaft leading up. Sunlight streams down, 40 feet up, maybe 50. There, Torres is pointing. A ladder built into the shaft wall, leading to the surface. Behind us, Jackson Fell emerges from the tunnel. Then Raymond Pitt. Then for others I don't recognize. All of them moving together, coordinated. The wet clicking fills the chamber. Climb. Now. I'm at the ladder, firing down at them. They scatter, not because they're afraid, but because they're adapting tactics. Taking cover behind the old equipment. Flanking us. Torres is climbing. I'm burning through my magazine. 8 rounds left. 6. 4. They're getting closer. I can smell them, something wrong with their body chemistry. Sour. Chemical. 2 rounds left. I start climbing. The ladder rungs are spaced far apart. My arms are burning. Torres is above me, almost at the top. Sunlight is getting brighter. I can see the desert sky. Blue and vast, and exactly what I've been staring at for 23 years without appreciating. Something grabs my boot. Jackson Fell. He's on the ladder below me. His hand is locked around my ankle. His grip is impossible, stronger than human. The bones in his hand must be broken, but he doesn't care. He's pulling, trying to drag me down. I kick. My boot connects with his face. Doesn't matter. He doesn't let go. I aim my Glock down. 1 round left. I fire into his shoulder. The impact makes him jerk, but his grip doesn't loosen. Torres is screaming my name from above. Vega, give me your hand. I can't reach. Fell is pulling me down. I'm losing my grip on the ladder. My fingers are slipping. I do the only thing I can think of. I unlace my boot, twist my foot, slip it out of the boot. Fell falls backward, still clutching the empty boot, and drops 30 feet into the chamber below. I climb the last 10 feet in my sock. Torres pulls me onto the surface. We're in the desert, empty scrublands stretching in every direction. The ventilation shaft is disguised, just looks like a concrete cap on the ground, half buried in sand. Behind us, more of them are coming up the ladder. We run. The sun is setting. The desert is cooling off. I'm limping. My right foot is already bleeding through my sock. Sharp rocks, thorns, God knows what else. Torres is supporting me. We're moving away from the ventilation shaft, away from the facility. My radio crackles. Landry's voice. Vega, if you're out there, we found an exit. West Side Tunnel. We're on the surface. Where are you? North of the facility. Maybe a mile. I'm looking back. Figures are emerging from the ventilation shaft. 6, 8, 10. They're coming out. They're spreading. We see them. Landry's voice is tight. There's a perimeter. Military. They're not letting anyone through. I look west. In the fading light, I can see vehicles. Humvees. A perimeter fence being erected. The federal containment agent Brack mentioned. They're not containing the facility. They're containing the desert around it, making sure nothing gets out, including us. Torres sees it too. They're not going to let us leave, are they? No. My radio crackles again. Different voice. Agent Brack. Officer Vega, we're tracking your position. Do not approach the perimeter. Repeat, do not approach. You are considered contaminated until medical clearance. How long is clearance going to take? Helican estimates 72 hours for definitive testing. We're establishing a safe zone inside the containment area. Food, water, shelter. Just stay put and behind us, the infected inmates are spreading across the desert, not chasing us specifically, dispersing, following some pattern I don't understand. They're moving away from the facility, away from each other, spacing themselves out evenly across the landscape. What are they doing? Torres is watching them. Dr. Cho's voice comes over the radio. They're optimizing distribution, maximizing coverage area. If the serum is airborne in later stages, spreading out increases transmission potential. So they're trying to infect the whole desert? Landry sounds exhausted. They're following biological imperatives. Propagation, dispersal. It's not conscious strategy. It's programmed behavior. I'm thinking about Dorian Kemp. His daughter's birthday party. The photo he showed me. Does he still remember her? Or is that gone now, deleted along with every other emotional connection? The sun is below the horizon now. The desert is dark. The facility behind us is lit up. Emergency lights, spotlights, military illumination. The perimeter is glowing. We're in between. A no man's land of infected inmates and federal containment. Torres is sitting on the ground. What do we do now? I don't have an answer. I'm a prison guard. I keep people locked up until shift ends. That's my job. That's what I'm good at. I'm not equipped for this. For biological outbreaks and pharmaceutical conspiracies and federal abandonment. But Landry and Dr. Cho are still alive. Torres is still alive. I'm still alive. And 72 hours is just 3 days. I can keep people alive for 3 days. That's within my competence. We survive, I say. We find shelter. We stay away from the infected. And we survive until they let us out. Torres looks up at me. You really think they're going to let us out? I don't answer that. I'm watching the facility. The lights. The infected moving through the darkness. Somewhere in there, Raymond Pitt is walking around with 2 bullet holes in his chest, completely unaffected. Somewhere in there, the pharmaceutical company's research is locked in computers that federal agents are probably already wiping remotely. My radio crackles. Landry. Vega, we found a maintenance shed. Northwest corner. Inside the perimeter but away from the main facility. Concrete structure, solid door. We can hold up there. On our way, Torres and I start walking northwest. The desert is cold now. My foot is bleeding worse. I'm leaving a trail, but we're moving. We're surviving. Behind us, the wet clicking sound echoes across the desert. Multiple sources, growing fainter. They're spreading, optimizing distribution. 3 days. I can survive 3 days. I hope. The maintenance shed is exactly what Landry described. Concrete block structure, maybe 15 by 20 feet. 1 metal door, no windows. Inside there's nothing but shelves of supplies. Cleaning chemicals, tools, spare parts for the fence. Landry and Dr. Cho are already inside when Torres and I arrive. Dr. Cho is wrapping Landry's arm with torn fabric from her coat. Blood soaking through. What happened? One of them got close when we were in the tunnels. Landry's trying to sound casual. Not working. Bit through my sleeve. Didn't break skin much. Just a scratch. Dr. Cho looks at me. Her face tells me everything. Not just a scratch. Definite exposure. High viral load. How long? I'm asking her, not him. Reeves showed symptoms in 10 minutes after direct contact. Landry has been exposed for... She checks her watch. 45 minutes now. We all look at Landry. He's pale, sweating, but his eyes are still normal, still present, still Landry. I feel fine, he says. Little dizzy, but that could be adrenaline, running, stress, any of that. Torres is backing toward the door. He's infected. We need to leave him here. Lock him in. He's not symptomatic yet, I say, but I'm thinking the same thing. Thinking about what happens when he changes. Thinking about the shed's metal door and whether it'll hold. Yet. Torres' voice is high, panicking. You said yet. That means it's going to happen. Landry stands up. Slow. Deliberate. Trying not to seem threatening. I'm still me. I'm still in control. If I notice anything changing, I'll tell you. You can restrain me. Lock me outside. Whatever you need to do, you'll tell us? Torres is almost laughing. The first symptom is loss of empathy. How are you going to tell us you're losing empathy when you won't care enough to warn us? She's right. That's the trap. The serum erases the concern that would make someone report their own symptoms. Dr. Cho is still examining Landry's arm. The bite marks are shallow. Less tissue damage means lower viral exposure. Maybe he has more time. Maybe his immune system can. Maybe doesn't help us. I'm looking at Landry. 15 years. We've worked together 15 years. I know his kids' names, Brianna and Anthony. I know his wife hates that he works corrections. I know he takes his coffee black with 2 sugars and he's allergic to shellfish, and he once talked down an inmate having a psychotic break by quoting scripture even though Landry's not religious. I know him, and I know what I have to do. You're staying in here, I say. We're staying outside. We'll monitor you through. I look around. Through the door. Every hour we'll check. Talk to you. Assess your condition. And if I don't turn, if I'm fine, then after 72 hours, when they let us out, you get the first medical attention. And if I do turn, I don't answer. He knows. We all know. Landry nods slowly. Okay. That's fair. That's the right call. He sits back down on a supply crate. You 3 should go. Get some distance before dark. Find somewhere safer than standing outside a shed. Torres is already at the door. Dr. Cho follows her. I'm last to leave. I stop at the doorway. Landry, he looks up. Thank you, I say. For 15 years. For everything. We're not doing this. His voice is firm. We're not doing the goodbye scene. I'm going to be fine. This is just precaution. I'll see you in an hour when you come check on me, and I'll still be me, and we'll all feel stupid about this. I want to believe him. I close the door. Lock it from the outside. The bolt slides into place with a heavy click. We move away from the shed. 50 yards. Close enough to monitor, far enough to run if necessary. The desert is fully dark now. The facility lights create a dome of illumination to the south. The perimeter is lit up to the west. Everything else is darkness. We should keep moving, Torres says. Get farther from the facility. Closer to the perimeter. When they let us out, we want to be. They're not letting us out. Dr. Cho sits down on the ground. Rock or dirt, doesn't matter anymore. Agent Brack said 72 hours for testing. But Helican withheld data from federal oversight. If they lied about airborne transmission, what else did they lie about? How long the serum stays active? How far it spreads? The incubation period. So what are you saying? I'm saying we're in a containment zone. That's a permanent designation until proven otherwise. We could be here for weeks, months, or they could decide the risk is too high and she doesn't finish, doesn't need to. We all understand. Contaminated zone, biological hazard, acceptable losses. My radio crackles. Vega, this is Agent Brack. We're monitoring thermal signatures inside the containment area. We count approximately 63 infected subjects dispersed across a 2-mile radius. 3 uninfected signatures in your location. What's your status? 3 uninfected plus 1 potential exposure locked in a secure structure. We're maintaining distance and monitoring. Copy that. Be advised. We're detecting unusual behavioral patterns in the infected subjects. They're not attacking each other. They're coordinating. We think they're using the prison's radio frequency to communicate. They're talking on radios? Negative. They're not speaking, but they're transmitting some kind of audio signal, regular intervals. We think it's how they're coordinating movement without visual contact. The wet clicking, that's what it is. Not random sound. Communication. They're using our own equipment against us. Can you jam the frequency? We could, but we need it for monitoring your position. If we shut it down, we lose contact with you. Your call. I look at Torres, Dr. Cho. Both of them are listening. Both of them are waiting for me to decide. Keep it active. We need communication more than they need coordination. They seem to be managing fine without it anyway. Copy. Brack out. Torres is staring at the facility lights. So they're smart. They're organized. They're spreading. And we're trapped here with them. This is worse than any scenario in training. We're supposed to contain inmates, not become inmates ourselves. We're not inmates. I'm checking my Glock. Still 1 magazine left. 15 rounds. That's all. We're survivors. Dr. Cho stands up. I need to tell you something about the serum, about what it actually does. You said it removes empathy. That's the effect. But the mechanism, she's choosing words carefully. Helican was trying to create a pharmaceutical intervention for violent recidivism. The theory was that aggression stems from empathy failure. If you don't recognize others' suffering, you're more likely to harm them. So they thought, what if we can artificially enhance empathy? Make it impossible to ignore others' emotional states. But that's the opposite of what happened, because they tested it on the wrong population. Violent offenders, people who've already learned to suppress empathy as a survival mechanism in prison culture. The serum didn't enhance their empathy. It destroyed what was left, completely. And without empathy, without emotional regulation, the brain defaults to pure biological imperatives. Feed, spread, survive. Nothing else matters. So they're not people anymore? They're people with parts of their humanity deleted. The parts that made them recognize each other as human. She's looking at the maintenance shed where Landry is locked inside. And the worst part is they're conscious of it. They know what they're doing. They just don't care. That's worse than mindlessness. That's awareness without conscience. That's my radio crackles. Landry's voice. Vega, I key up. Talk to me. How are you feeling? I'm feeling like I need to tell you something. About what's happening. About what I'm noticing. His voice sounds different. Flatter. Less inflection. What are you noticing? I'm noticing that I don't care if you lock me in here. I thought I would. I thought I'd be afraid or angry or something. But I'm not. I'm just analyzing. Calculating. If I stay in here, I have 0 resources. 0 mobility. If I get out, I can regroup with the others. That's more optimal. The others? You mean the infected inmates? I mean my cohort. The serum recipients. It's hard to explain. We're separate but connected. Like nodes in a network. Torres is shaking her head. He's turning. We need to move. Now. Landry, listen to me. You're infected. What you're feeling isn't real. It's the serum affecting your brain chemistry. You need to fight it. Remember Brianna and Anthony. Remember your wife. Remember. I remember them. I can access the memories. But they don't mean anything. They're just data. Brianna is 11 years old. Anthony is 8. They live in Mesa. I have no emotional response to that information. Dr. Cho takes the radio from me. Landry, this is Dr. Cho. Can you describe what you're experiencing physically? Temperature dropping, heart rate decreasing, pain threshold increasing significantly. I tested it by breaking my left index finger. Minimal discomfort. Motor control is improving. I can move my joints through greater range of motion than baseline. Strength is. The door to the shed bends. Not breaks. Bends. The metal warps outward. Landry is hitting it from the inside. We need to go. Torres is running. North, away from the shed, away from the facility. Dr. Cho and I follow. Behind us, the metal door shrieks. The bolt is still holding, but the door frame is giving way. The concrete block is old. The door was never meant to withstand that kind of force. We run into the darkness. My foot is agony, no boot, bleeding. Every rock feels like a knife. Torres is faster, younger. She pulls ahead. Dr. Cho is struggling. Not in shape for this. I'm supporting her, pulling her along. Behind us, metal screams. The door breaks. Landry's out. I'm saying into the radio. Landry is infected and mobile. Track his position. Agent Brack's voice. We see him. He's heading northeast. Toward your position. You need to move faster. Torres stops. Turns. I'm not leaving you two behind. Come on. She runs back. Takes Dr. Cho's other arm. Together we're moving faster. The desert is uneven. arroyos and rocks and patches of brush. We can't see properly. Just starlight and the distant glow from the facility. My radio. This is Landry, or it was Landry. I don't know what designation to use now. Vega, I'm following your trail. You're leaving blood markers. Very easy to track. I will reach you in approximately 4 minutes at current pace. Landry, stop. Please. Fight this. There's nothing to fight. This is improved state. Enhanced capabilities. Reduced limitations. You should accept infection. It's more efficient. Torres is crying while she runs. That's not him. That's not Landry. But it is. That's the horror of it. It's Landry's voice. Landry's memories. Landry's intelligence. Just without the parts that made him care about us. Ahead, I see something. A depression in the ground. Not natural. Too geometric. There. We reach it. Old mining pit. 20 feet across. 10 feet deep. Sides are steep but manageable. We slide down. At the bottom, there's a drainage culvert. Metal pipe maybe 4 feet in diameter. Big enough to crawl into. In there, I tell them, that could dead end. Collapse. Fill with water. Dr. Cho is listing problems even as she crawls into the pipe. Better than surface exposure. Torres goes next. I'm last. I'm pulling myself into the pipe when I see him. Landry, standing at the edge of the pit, looking down. His eyes are empty. His skin is graying like the others. But his face is still his face. His body is still his body. Vega. He starts down the slope. Moving wrong. Joints bending in ways they shouldn't. This is inefficient. You're going to die in that pipe. Dehydration, exposure, or when the others find you. I can make it faster. More humane. I draw my Glock. Aim at him. My hand is shaking. Don't make me do this. You won't. You care about me. That's your limitation. I don't have that limitation anymore. He's 10 feet away. 8, 6. The round hits his chest. Center mass. He stumbles, but doesn't fall. Doesn't stop. The serum has changed his pain response. Made him resistant. I fire again. Again. I'm pulling the trigger until the slide locks back. Empty. Landry has 4 bullets in him. He's still moving. Slower. Damaged. But moving. Torres pulls me deeper into the pipe. Come on. Leave him. We crawl. The pipe is dark, tight, claustrophobic. Smells like rust and old water. Behind us, I hear Landry entering the pipe. Hear his hands and knees scraping metal. Hear that wet clicking sound coming from his throat. The pipe goes 50 feet. Then it opens into a larger chamber, some kind of drainage collection point. There's a ladder leading up to a maintenance hatch. Torres is already climbing. Dr. Cho follows. I'm at the bottom when Landry emerges from the pipe. His face is wrong now. Not just the empty eyes. The structure is changing. Cheekbones more pronounced. Jaw too wide. Like something is restructuring him from the inside. Vega. His voice is distorted. Bit. I need you to understand. This isn't personal. This is just biological imperative. Propagation. Your optimal vector. Medical personnel, security staff. High contact with outside population post-containment. You would spread the serum efficiently. He reaches for me. I kick his hand away. Grab the ladder. Pull myself up. He's grabbing my leg. Same thing he did in the ventilation shaft. But I have both boots now. Both feet. I kick down. My heel connects with his face. Something cracks. He doesn't let go. Above me, Torres is pushing open the hatch. Daylight streams in. No, not daylight. Spotlight. We're near the perimeter. The military lights. Help! Torres is screaming. We need help. Federal agents. Military. Anyone. I'm pulling against Landry's grip. Dr. Cho is on the ladder above me trying to help. But Landry is too strong. The serum has enhanced his strength. He's pulling me down, pulling himself up. His face is inches from mine. His breath smells chemical. Wrong. Landry, please. Brianna and Anthony. Your kids. Remember them. Feel something. I remember. I don't feel. His mouth opens. Too wide. His teeth. The hatch above explodes with light. Flashlights. Voices. Federal agents looking down. We have visual on infected subject. Authorization to engage. Negative. Uninfected subject in direct contact. Hold fire. I'm looking up at them. At the agents. At Torres and Dr. Cho who made it to the surface. At the sky beyond. The stars. The same stars that have been over this desert for billions of years. Indifferent. Constant. I look back at Landry. At what's left of him. I'm sorry, I say. Then I let go of the ladder. We both fall. 10 feet back to the chamber floor. The impact breaks my ankle. I feel it snap. The pain is incredible. Landry lands on top of me. His weight drives the air from my lungs. But we're separated now. The fall broke his grip. Above, Torres is screaming my name. Dr. Cho is trying to get back down the ladder. The federal agents are shouting protocols, authorizations, arguments about infected zone contamination. Landry is getting up. Slow. Damaged but functional. He's between me and the ladder. I can't reach it. Can't climb with a broken ankle anyway. He moves toward me. I don't have any weapons left. No gun. Nothing but my radio and my keys and my vest and the keys. I pull them off my belt. 15 keys on a steel ring. Not much of a weapon, but the ring is solid, heavy, and one of the keys is the electrical room override. For inches long, pointed, Landry reaches for me. I swing the keys. The electrical override catches him in the eye. Punches through. He jerks back. Makes that wet clicking sound. But he doesn't stop. Doesn't feel pain the way he should. He grabs my throat. His hands are cold. Impossibly strong. My vision is darkening. Dying. Above, someone is shouting. Get them out of there. Get her out. But they won't. They can't. Infected zone. Contamination protocol. I'm already exposed. Already compromised. They'll seal this hatch and leave me here and write a report about acceptable losses and Landry's grip loosens. He's looking at me. His remaining eye is still empty, but his hands are shaking, trembling. Vega. His voice cracks. Vega, I can't stop. I'm trying. I can remember trying, but I can't. For just a moment, there's something in his eye. Not empathy, not human, but awareness, recognition of what he's lost, what he's become. Then it's gone. His hands tighten again. This is it. This is how I die. Killed by my partner of 15 years while federal agents watch from above and do nothing because protocol matters more than people and pharmaceutical companies profit from turning human beings into gunfire, automatic weapons. From above, multiple shooters. The federal agents have opened fire. Landry's body jerks. 30 rounds. 40. 50. High-powered rifles turning him into something that can't move anymore. Can't function. Can't survive even with the serum's enhancements. He collapses on top of me. Not words, just sound. Grief and rage and horror all mixed together. Hands are pulling me. Federal agents in hazmat suits. They're dragging me up the ladder. Away from Landry's body. Away from the drainage chamber. Onto the surface where the spotlight is blinding and Torres is crying and Dr. Cho is trying to explain medical protocols to people who don't care. They put me on a stretcher. Strap me down. Someone is splinting my ankle. Someone else is taking blood samples. Someone is asking me questions I can't process. I'm staring at the sky, at the stars, at the indifferent universe. Landry is dead. Really dead. Not infected. Not transformed. Dead. I killed him. Not directly, but I made the choices that led to this. I locked him in the shed. I left him behind. I let him become what he became. No, Pelican Biosciences killed him. The State Corrections Department killed him. The federal agents killed him. The system that treats inmates as test subjects and guards as acceptable collateral damage killed him. But I'm the one who has to live with it. Someone is covering me with a thermal blanket. Someone is saying I'm going into shock. Someone is loading me into a medical vehicle. Through the window, I can see the facility, the lights, the perimeter, the containment zone. Somewhere in there, 63 infected inmates are spreading across the desert, optimizing distribution, following biological imperatives without conscience or empathy or human recognition. Somewhere in there, Dorian Kemp might still remember his daughter's birthday party, but he doesn't care. Somewhere in there, the pharmaceutical company's research is being destroyed by federal agents who will write reports that classify the whole program and ensure no one ever learns what really happened here. The vehicle is moving, taking me away from the containment zone, toward decontamination, toward testing, toward 72 hours of proving I'm not infected. Torres and Dr. Cho are in the vehicle with me. Both of them are silent. Both of them are staring at nothing. We survived. That's what matters. That's what I told them in the desert. Survival is the goal. But surviving this, surviving Landry's transformation, his death, the knowledge of what we saw, that's not the same as living. That's just existing with the memory of what we had to do. The vehicle passes through the perimeter checkpoint. Armed guards, biohazard signs, warning tape. Behind us, the containment zone glows in the darkness. 72 hours, they said. 72 hours to test us, to determine if we're infected. But I already know the truth. The serum is airborne. We're all exposed. It's just a matter of time. Unless we're lucky. Unless our immune systems fight it off. Unless Helican was lying about that too. I close my eyes. Try to sleep. Try to escape the memory of Landry's empty eye looking at me while his hands squeezed my throat. Try to forget that for just a moment he knew what he'd lost. Try to forget that I might lose it too. Day 19. They're keeping us in the federal medical facility in Phoenix. Building with no windows. Guards on every door. Not prison guards. Military. Different uniforms, same indifference. Torres is in room 7B. Dr. Cho is in 7D. I'm in 7C. Between them, not coincidence. They're monitoring our interactions. Recording everything we say. Testing to see if we're coordinating. If we're showing signs of infection. If we're becoming a network like the subjects in the containment zone. My ankle is healing wrong. They said it, but the bone isn't fusing properly. Doctor says it might need surgery. Doctor says a lot of things that aren't helpful. They're not corrections doctors. They're CDC, military, medical, federal contractors. They ask questions, take samples, run tests, show me images and ask what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I want to know what happened to the 63 infected inmates still in the containment zone. But when I ask, they say it's classified. When I demand answers, they say I'm showing signs of aggression that warrant additional observation. So I stop asking. Torres comes to my room during approved socialization period. 20 minutes per day. She looks smaller than she did at the facility. Thinner. Her hands shake constantly now. They're not letting us go, she says. She's not looking at me. Looking at the corner where the camera is mounted. 72 hours. That's what they said. It's been 19 days. They're not letting us go. Maybe they need more time. More testing. We're negative. All the tests are negative. Dr. Cho confirmed it. We asked to see the results. They said that's classified too. I know what she's thinking. The same thing I'm thinking. We're not patients. We're subjects. Different designation, same cage. There's a lawyer, Torres says quietly. My family hired a lawyer. Federal civil rights attorney. She's filing motions. Habeas corpus. Unlawful detention. But the government is claiming national security exemption. Biological threat assessment. They can hold us indefinitely as long as they classify us as potential vectors. How long is indefinitely? She finally looks at me. The lawyer says there's precedent. Typhoid Mary was quarantined for 26 years. She died in isolation. 26 years. I'm 51. I'd be 77. Brianna and Anthony would be adults. Landry would be dead almost 3 decades. Long enough for everyone to forget what happened. Long enough for Helicon Biosciences to rebrand, restructure, continue research under a different name. We're not infected, I say. Every test is negative. We were exposed. That's enough. Torres stands up. Her 20 minutes are almost done. They don't care about proof. They care about liability. If they release us and we infect someone, even if it's impossible, even if every test says we're clean, that's a lawsuit. That's congressional hearings. That's someone's career ending. Easier to keep us here. Classify everything. Wait until everyone forgets. The guard at the door signals. Time's up. Torres leaves. I'm alone again. Room 7C. 12 by 14 feet. Bed, toilet, sink, chair. Camera in the corner. Microphone somewhere I can't see. They're listening. Always listening. Waiting for me to show symptoms. Waiting for me to say something that confirms their theories about infection patterns and transmission vectors and biological imperative. I think about Landry's voice on the radio. This is improved state. Enhanced capabilities. Reduced limitations. Is that what they're afraid of? Not that we'll spread disease. That will spread the truth. That will tell people what Helicon did. What the state allowed. What the federal government covered up. Dr. Cho visits during her approved socialization period. She doesn't sit. Just stands near the door. Ready to leave. I've been analyzing the timeline, she says. No greeting. No small talk. She's different now too. More clinical. Less human. Maybe that's adaptation. Maybe that's survival. Helicon knew the serum was failing 6 days before the breach. I found evidence in the research logs they didn't fully delete. Subject complaints about emotional flattening. Early physical symptoms. Helicon's internal memos recommended immediate termination of Phase 3 trials. But the state corrections contract required minimum 60-day observation period. Terminating early meant refunding the grant money. $3.7 million. So they kept dosing inmates even knowing it was dangerous. They increased the dosage. Thought they could counteract the emotional flattening with higher concentrations. That accelerated the transformation. Turned a gradual process into rapid onset. That's why the breach happened. That's why Reeves died. That's why... She stops. Looks at the camera. That's why all of this happened. Did you tell them? The federal investigators. I tried. They classified my statement. Took my research materials. Offered me a settlement. $2 million, non-disclosure agreement, lifetime gag order. If I talk about what I saw, I go to federal prison for violating national security protocols. Did you take it? Not yet. But my lawyer says I should. Says there's no other option. Says fighting this destroys my career, bankrupts my family, accomplishes nothing because the government will just classify everything anyway, and I'll be the crazy doctor making unsubstantiated claims about pharmaceutical conspiracies. She's looking at me now, really looking, trying to communicate something beyond words, something the microphones won't capture. But if 3 people say the same thing, she says slowly, 3 people with different lawyers, different jurisdictions, different timelines, that's harder to suppress. That's multiple sources. That's corroboration. They'll destroy us. They're already destroying us. We're locked in federal detention with no charges, no trial, no release date. What's left to destroy? The guard signals. Her time is up. She leaves. I'm alone again. I'm thinking about Dorian Kemp's daughter. The photo he showed me during intake. Purple birthday hat. 4 years old. She's 9 now. Does she know what happened to her father? Does she know he was used as a test subject for an experimental drug that turned him into something that couldn't remember why she mattered? I'm thinking about Landry's kids, Brianna and Anthony. Do they know their father died in a drainage chamber, shot by federal agents after trying to kill his partner? Or did they get the sanitized version? Line of duty, heroic sacrifice, standard memorial. I'm thinking about the 63 infected inmates still in the containment zone. What's happening to them? Are they alive? Are they being studied? Are they being eliminated quietly, one by one, so there's no evidence left of what Helican created? My radio is gone. They took it during decontamination, but I remember Agent Brack's voice. You are considered contaminated until medical clearance. Contaminated, not infected. Contaminated. Different word. Broader definition. Doesn't require actual disease. Just exposure. Just proximity. Just knowledge. That's what we are. Contaminated with information that powerful people need suppressed. Day 27. They're moving us. Won't say where. Won't say why. Military transport. Torres is in the vehicle with me. Dr. Cho is in a different vehicle. Separating us. Making sure we can't coordinate. Making sure if one of us talks, the others can't verify. Torres leans close. Whispers. My lawyer filed a public records request, FOIA, asking for all documentation related to Sonoran Desert Correctional Facility biological incident. The request was denied. National security exemption. But the denial is public record. That means the incident is confirmed. The government admitted something happened. Admitting something happened isn't the same as admitting what happened. It's a start. The vehicle stops. They're moving us to different facilities. Torres is going to a military medical installation in Nevada. Dr. Cho is going to a CDC facility in Georgia. I'm going to a federal detention center in New Mexico. Maximum separation, maximum isolation, maximum control. They unload Torres first. She looks back at me before they take her inside. Her eyes are different now. Not empty like the infected inmates, but hard, determined, changed by what she saw, by what was done to her. She mouths something. I read her lips. Tell them. Then she's gone. I'm alone in the vehicle. Guard in the front seat. Bulletproof partition. No communication. I'm thinking about the electrical room. The radio console. Landry's voice saying we're separate but connected. Like nodes in a network. Maybe that's what we are now. Torres. Me. Separate but connected. Nodes in a network of survivors who know the truth. Who carry the contamination of information. They can separate us. Silence us individually. Threaten us with national security violations and lifetime gag orders and federal prison. But they can't make us forget. They can't delete the memory of Landry's empty eye looking at me while his hands squeezed my throat, and for just one moment he knew what he'd lost. They can't delete the memory of Dorian Kemp pressing his face against reinforced glass, staring at me without recognition, without humanity, without anything that made him a father who missed his daughter's birthday party. They can't delete Dr. Cho's evidence. Torres' lawyer's FOIA request. My testimony that exists somewhere in a classified file. The vehicle is moving again, taking me to New Mexico, to a federal detention center where I'll be held indefinitely under biological threat assessment protocols that have no expiration date and no oversight. I'm looking out the small reinforced window. Desert landscape. Same desert that surrounds the containment zone. Same rocks and brush and indifferent sky. Somewhere out there, the facility is still sealed. The infected inmates are still spreading, optimizing distribution, following biological imperatives. And federal agents are still monitoring, still studying, still collecting data that will be classified and suppressed and eventually used to develop the next version of the serum. Because they won't stop. Helican or whoever replaces them. The research is too valuable. The application's too profitable. Pharmaceutical behavior modification for violent offenders. For enemy combatants. For civilian populations during unrest. The serum failed. But failure is just data. Just information for the next trial. The next phase. The next group of subjects who volunteer for credited time and better commissary privileges without understanding what they're volunteering for. And when it goes wrong again, because it will go wrong again, there will be more guards like me. More doctors like Dr. Cho. More rookies like Torres. All of us contaminated with the truth. All of us detained indefinitely. All of us silenced with classification and national security and acceptable losses. The vehicle stops at a checkpoint. New Mexico border. Military personnel checking credentials. They wave us through. I'm thinking about what Torres said. 3 people saying the same thing. 3 people with different lawyers, different jurisdictions, different timelines. I'm thinking about the lawyer's FOIA request, the public record of denial, the confirmation that something happened. I'm thinking about networks, nodes, connections. They separated us to break the network. But networks don't work that way. You don't need centralized control. You don't need everyone in the same location. You just need enough nodes transmitting the same signal. Eventually someone receives it. Eventually someone listens. The Federal Detention Center is exactly what I expected. Concrete walls. Reservoir. Guards who don't make eye contact. Room assignment. Building 7, Cell 12. Isolation wing. Medical observation status. Indefinite detention. They lock me in. 12 by 14 feet. Bed, toilet, sink, chair. Camera in the corner. Microphone somewhere I can't see. Different facility. Same cage. I sit on the bed. My ankle throbs. Feeling wrong. Probably permanent damage. Probably limp for the rest of my life. However long that is. I'm thinking about Landry. 15 years as partners. Brianna and Anthony. Coffee black with 2 sugars. Shellfish allergy. Scripture quotations during psychotic episodes. I'm thinking about his voice on the radio. Flat. Emotionless. Analytical. This is improved state. Enhanced capabilities. Reduced limitations. I'm thinking about his hand on my throat. His eye looking at me. Empty. Then for one moment something else. Recognition. Awareness of loss. Then nothing. Then federal agents firing until there was nothing left to fire at. I'm not Landry. I'm not infected. Every test confirms it. 19 days of negative results. 27 days. However many days it's been now. I've lost count, but I'm not who I was either. Not with the serum. With knowledge. With truth. With the understanding of what institutions do to people when profit matters more than humanity and liability matters more than justice. They can keep me here for 26 years. They can classify every document. They can threaten every lawyer. They can separate every witness. But they can't make me forget Landry's face. They can't make me forget Dorian Kemp's daughter's birthday party. They can't make me stop being a node in a network that's already transmitting. Torres is in Nevada. Dr. Cho is in Georgia. I'm in New Mexico. 3 people. 3 locations. 3 versions of the same truth. Eventually someone will connect the signals. Eventually someone will listen. Eventually someone will ask why 3 corrections officers and a doctor are being held indefinitely in federal detention with no charges and no trial and no release date. Eventually the truth gets out. Not because we're special. Not because we're heroes. But because networks are resilient. Because information wants to spread. Because even in a system designed to suppress and classify and control, there are still gaps. Still failures. Still people who remember that inmates are human beings and guards are human beings and test subjects are human beings and all of us matter more than quarterly profits and federal contracts and pharmaceutical innovations. Eventually, maybe, I hope, I don't know if hope counts as an emotion. I don't know if I still have access to hope after what I saw, after what I did, after what was done to me, but I know I'm still alive, still conscious, still aware, still myself. Still contaminated with the truth. And in a network, that's all you need to be. 1 node, 1 signal, 1 transmission. The rest is just time.